Hello, my gorgeous Virgo family. I am, as always, so excited to sit down and feel through the month with you all. As a Virgo moon, this is like my cozy, closest family here, so it's always a special place to explore with you all. And April is a potent and powerful and beautiful and adventurous and curious month in all ways. It's both an ingenuity, inventive, kind of creative, dynamic month, as well as a deep healing month. So it's really got a little bit of everything moving through with it. And Virgo, it's a special time of year for you every year when we hit into Aries season, because especially if you're a Virgo rising, this is going to be 8th house energy of transformation. And it's always a time, I feel like, with Virgo energy to be shedding a skin and kind of coming into your next form. And as I was thinking about Aries season this year for you all, it was making me think about Sleeping Beauty of all stories. I guess I'm thinking about the ballet version because I'm a really big ballet nerd. But that story, the whole premise is, right, like there's this princess who's born, and then they don't invite the 13th fairy, she's a little darker. She's a little more intense, and she doesn't get the invite to the party. All the other like pretty fun fairies get to go, and not this more mysterious, darker shadow version in the Jung world. This is the shadow, the subconscious. She doesn't get invited to the party, and therefore the rest of the plot unfolds because this part of ourselves or the part of that fairy kind of wreaks havoc on the kingdom. And it was making me think about 8th house work and just transformational work, and how important it is to invite our whole selves to the table, and how we have to invite that 13th fairy, that little weird, mysterious, dark, spooky part of ourselves to the table of life, because we can't just selectively shut down, parts of ourselves and think that that life is going to just work and flow, right? Like whenever have any of you ever tried to kind of selectively drown out something that is like a problem in your life? You're like, everything else is working. It's just a small thing that's not really working, but I can just live with it. And you'll notice how everything feels kind of like an uphill battle, because and you just can't figure out why, because you're like, I'm doing everything well. Why isn't everything working? And then as soon as you like let go of that commitment, or you shift that problem, suddenly everything starts working better again. I feel like it's similar with trying to kind of shut out parts of ourselves or ignore that we have this spookier or more stressed out or nervous or weird or concerned part of ourselves that we aren't inviting to the table. So I think with Aries season, my point being, we want to invite all of ourselves, including the weirdest, most sensitive parts that maybe we put on the back shelf, trying to get through the day, trying to be a part of culture, trying to be... Literally 3 cards like flew out, so let's see what they are. 10 of Cups, hello. 2 of Pentacles. 6 of Swords. Okay, big changes, big horizons are showing up here. So yeah, it's important that we invite all of those parts of ourselves, allow them expression in different ways, and that's going to be a big part of the journey for you in Aries season. But Aries season also has a really interesting flavor to it for you, especially because both Mars and Venus are going to be moving through your opposing sign of Pisces. And this is beautiful for relationships. This is going to be so healing, so deeply connective, very romantic, very deep, very nurturing, very loving. This can really highlight that. I think also with Mars and Venus opposing you at this time, this is a great time to kind of see things from new vantage points, explore who you're becoming, having deeper, better communication with those closest to you. So it's a really, really wonderful, healing, soothing energy. And I think it will work really well with you. And 5 of Wands. Oh, I haven't seen that card come out for a little while, actually. Let's pull a final card from my Animal Totem Tarot and see what wants to join us in this conversation. So much to cover today. And I haven't even gotten to Taurus season. So we move through Aries season, which is about inviting that 13th fairy to the party. Knight of Cups. I think it's the blue-footed booby. I want to double check that. Inviting everything to the party, but then we get into Taurus season, and we also get into eclipse season. And eclipse season is going to be all about, blue-footed booby. I was right. Okay. Eclipse season, Taurus season is going to be all about your big visions. This is wild, juicy, playful, optimistic, big picture thinking. And it's going to be really, really expansive for you. And I think you'll honestly feel more momentum probably as we get more into the Taurus energy, because it's a fellow earth sign, because it's flowing with you in a way that really, really works with you and your inventive, creative, playful, excited energy. I'm really excited to see what that is going to feel like for the Virgo family. You have quite a range of messages coming in here through this card reading today. So let's get into it. We start with 10 of Cups. I love it. This to me reminds me of that Mars-Venus work in Pisces. This is very much about culmination, something finally coming to fruition that you have been building toward for a long time. And for many of you, this will be deep partnership, deep love, deep community as well, a deep sense of feeling safe, loved, held in a place of warmth and connection and safety. And that's such a big part of 10 of Cups. I also love I like how 10 of Cups is a doorway too. It's a doorway into the next chapter. Like, yes, you've made it to a threshold of something. You've built into something really, really potent and powerful. And now what's going to happen is kind of a mystery. There's this doorway to walk through. There's something to be experienced. And what is it going to be? What is it going to look like? And that's where I think some of the mystical energy of this Aries and Taurus season is coming in, because we are doing the work of integrating and then just getting curious about what wants to come in next, and allowing it to meet us and invite us in. Now, this is really interesting, because the next three cards for me are about a bit of an internal conflict going on about how to choose how to move forward in life, where to put your foot, where to put your energy, where are you allowed to make choices and where are you allowed to make changes, and where do you feel like you're not allowed to? And yes, I mean, I know this maybe doesn't sound as exciting to talk about. I don't know. But here's the thing. This is really, really helpful. And I actually really like when we get these cards in a reading, because it can help us sort through some things and get deeper clarity about what is really going on. So I feel like first I want to say 10 of Cups is something, you know it when you see it, because this is the kind of energy that's harmonious. It just feels good. You don't have to talk yourself into it. You don't have to pros and cons list it to tell yourself why it feels good. It just feels good. And it feels nourishing and warm, and like your heart and your solar plexus are just warm and relaxed. You know, we all know that feeling. So when we get to 2 of Pentacles, this is about kind of feeling like you have to split yourself into parts in order to make something work. And if the 2 of Pentacles is coming out, normally what I'm seeing here is that there is a decision that you feel like you need to make, but you feel like you can't make a decision that's really true for you without letting other people down, without letting your culture down, without maybe feeling vulnerable or embarrassed. There's something where you're trying to kind of keep it all together. You're trying to do all the things. You're trying to be this and that. You're trying to be true to yourself, but then also like keep helping this other person over here, even though you don't really want to do that anymore. And so when 2 of Pentacles shows up, the best way I would say to work with this, first of all, is just acknowledging that you might have some warring internal voices, right? That have 2 different purposes. One to maybe keep you safe, one to be true to yourself. But the thing that you want to remember too is that you can't be everything for everybody. You can't keep everybody else safe. You can't control the world. You can't, by being perfect, your most perfect Virgo self, getting everything done and knowing the answers and figuring it out for everybody, you cannot make the world whole and safe that way. And so when the Two of Pentacles shows up, it is asking you to stop trying to do that. Stop trying to play the roles for everybody all the time. You may have to let some people like fall down and figure it out. You might have to, it might be a little scary to like release control over certain things that you can't be in charge of all the time. But here's what happens. When we stop trying to be everything for everybody, we actually hear and are able to move through in much more effectual ways in our lives, because we're moving from the animating force that comes from within, and we're no longer shattered into 10 different pieces trying to control, like trying to be there for everybody. So Two of Pentacles is about resolving that inner conflict. And part of that for me, when I see this, is in choosing to really listen to your soul song, you are leaving a familiar shore. There is something being left behind, whether that is something very practical and very real, like a home or an environment or a habit or a specific dynamic in a relationship. The Six of Swords is about having the audacity, the courage, the boldness to say, this shore right here isn't working for me the way that it's being done right now, and I need to take that chance and push off from the shore, knowing that I don't know exactly what's on the other side of this shore, but I have to go. I have to go see what that is. And like I said, that can be quite literal, like some of you may be moving or something, but I think a lot of times this just shows up as like when we stop playing a role in a dynamic, right? Like if we say, I just don't have the energy to do that phone call every single week with this person who wants to just kind of emotionally dump on me, or whatever. It's like it can be pushing off from a shore that just has to do with a dynamic that's been upheld for a long time. It can be pushing off from a shore of a routine or a habit that just isn't serving you anymore, like checking your phone first thing in the morning, which I do, by the way. But I know that I'm much happier when I don't do it. It can be a lot of different things, but the point here is to resolve the inner conflict where you are feeling that you have to be everything for everybody and going on your own path. And this does not mean that you are abandoning people or that you are being irresponsible or that you are suddenly just being so self-centered. No, it's about not fracturing yourself into a million pieces so that you no longer are effectual in your life. Now, we do have this Five of Wands, which I think is really interesting. This card, fives in tarot are all about these moments of like tension that are there to help resolve something and release something that is tense in the world. And Five of Wands, of course, you can see it's a bit of a battle. Now, this is really interesting in the context of what we were just saying about resolving the inner conflict, because Five of Wands for me, it's about having it out, whether that be internal or external. It's about having your say, allowing all those voices to be heard so that they are no longer just stuck, clashed together like this, and they just resolve, the tension dissolves the second there is a moment of recognition. And mostly what I see with this is not about external people. This is not about other people. This is not about other people causing you problems or forcing you to do things or, undermining you. This is all stuff that's going on in the war in Virgo, in your core. In your most sensitive places. You may be trying to wear all those hats and be all those things and trying to please everybody. And this reading is basically saying, stop doing that. You're meant to be here in harmony. You don't need to keep putting yourself through the ringer as much. It is time to try something a little different and choose the easiest way, choose the kindest way for yourself. And that can feel super vulnerable and really scary, as much as that sounds so like such a platitude to say that. it can feel like the most vulnerable thing to give yourself a break, to not try to be everything, to say, I don't have the energy for that. I got a boundary. I have a limit. So powerful. Now we're getting into Knight of Cups, who is normally just this beautiful, romantic visionary. And I want to read the little inscription that comes with this book, or with this deck, because it's just so beautiful, for the blue-footed booby. I'll put him up here. Watch my feet and I will dance for you. I want you to understand I am a lover, not a fighter. Don't let my knightly gear fool you. I would rather dance with you than see you come to any harm. Just watch my feet, and I know that sooner or later you will be right here next to me, enjoying the sound of the waves as we get lost in each other's eyes. For the most dangerous quest of all is the one of the heart. Yes. There is such a message here between the Ten of Cups and the Knight of Cups, anchoring around this kind of internal conflict of feeling like you're not allowed to follow your true path, that you're not allowed to choose yourself, that you're not allowed to set those boundaries and make those choices and let people know what you need and want, and to break those old patterns. There is a message here that you are being called to feel safe and held and true to yourself and simplify things and just pick those one or two things that you can do and do them well. And I know some of you probably have like, you know, crazy family dynamics. You have like kids running around, multiple jobs, things that are, and it sounds so careless to tell you, oh, just do a couple things. I get it. I totally get it. And each of you is going to have to figure out, you know, what that looks like and feels like for you. But I can almost guarantee you that all the entire list, if you put the list of everything you think you have to do, if you wrote that all down, there is a certain percentage of it that you don't actually have to do, but that you have kind of put on yourself. And we want to figure out what those things are and let them go. So this is about you having peace. This is about you getting back in touch with who you truly are and what you truly want. It's about trusting yourself enough to know that it's okay to be at peace. It doesn't mean you're missing a piece of the puzzle. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It doesn't mean you're betraying people or letting anybody down or letting the world down or being less of a good person. I promise you. And that is really a strong message, a very intense one. I hope that this made sense and connected with you. I never know where these readings are going to take me when I begin. And this took me some surprising places. I would love to see you over on Patreon. That's where I'm really able to dive deep on the astrology every single week. And we do our activations for the full moons, for eclipse season. I'm also going to be covering big retrogrades like Pluto, upcoming Mercury retrograde, all sorts of things. I'd love to see you there. It's a great community, and it's really where I'm able to share more in depth. You can also find me on my Instagram. There's only one true Sarah Vrba, and on my email and website if you're looking to connect with me. Also, I would love it. I would really love it if you subscribed and hung around. I love having you here. And like, if you like this video, it just helps me to keep doing this work so that I can keep being here. Because who knows where the path will lead us in the future. But if y'all are here with me, then I can keep doing this work. So I'd really appreciate it. I will see you all for our next chat. Have a gorgeous April, my friends. And as much as this has been an intense reading, I just want you to know that this is all like really beautiful, good stuff. And there's a big invitation here. So I love you so much. Have a beautiful April, and I'll talk to you soon.